If you have ever opened a bag of Takis, you already know the experience. The intense red coating, the sharp lime hit, the crunch that feels almost engineered. What most people do not realize is that these chips are not just flavored snacks. They are the result of a tightly controlled process that blends ancient food techniques with modern industrial precision. Making Takis is less about simply frying corn and more about solving a series of timing texture and coating challenges. Each step has to be executed with narrow limits. A small mistake can ruin thousands of chips at once. Here is how it all comes together. Everything begins with field corn. This is not the sweet corn you eat fresh. It is a harder variety designed for processing. But before it can become anything useful, it goes through a transformation that dates back thousands of years in Mexico. The process is called Nixtamalization. Corn kernels are cooked in large vats filled with water and lime, which is a calcium-based alkaline solution. This step lasts around 90 minutes. After cooking, the corn is washed and soaked. This is not just about softening the kernels. The alkaline treatment breaks down the outer shell, called the pericarp. It also changes the chemical structure of the corn itself. Nutrients become more available. Flavor improves. Texture becomes workable. Without this step, the dough would not behave properly later on. It would crack when rolled or fail to hold shape during frying. After washing, the softened kernels are ground into masa. This is not a smooth paste. The texture is carefully controlled. It must be soft enough to shape, but firm enough to survive mechanical handling. Too wet and it sticks. Too dry and it fractures. This balance is the first major checkpoint in the process. Once the masa is ready, it moves into shaping. This is where Takis begin to separate themselves from other snacks. The dough is pressed into thin sheets, similar to tortillas but much thinner and more uniform. Thickness matters a lot here. Even small variations can affect how the chips fry and how they hold their shape. These sheets are then cut into pieces and sent into specialized rolling machines. This is one of the most technically challenging parts of the entire process. The dough has a very short window of usability. After cutting, it remains flexible for roughly 90 seconds. During this time, each piece must be rolled into a tight spiral. The machines that do this are not standard food equipment. They were designed specifically for this task. Each piece of dough is grabbed and curled into a tube shape in less than a second. The shape is not random. It is slightly tampered, wider at one end and narrower at the other. This is achieved by using rolling surfaces that move at slightly different speeds. That speed difference naturally creates the cone-like spiral. This shape is important. It increases surface area, it creates grooves. It allows seasoning to settle into the chip rather than just sitting on top. By the time the chips leave this stage, they look like small corn spirals. They're still soft and fragile. If left too long, they will lose their shape or stick together. So they move immediately to fry. The frying stage is where the structure of Takis is finalized. The chips enter oil heated to about 375 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 190 degrees Celsius. This temperature is carefully controlled. Too hot and the outside burns before the inside cooks. Too cold and the chips absorb too much oil and become soggy. The frying system is not just one large tank. It is divided into zones. In the first zone, the outer layer of the chip is rapidly sealed. This locks in the spiral shape. Think of it as setting the structure so it does not collapse. In the second zone, the chips cook through completely. Moisture is driven out. The interior becomes crisp. Flavor develops as the corn reacts to heat. The entire frying process takes about 47 seconds. Not 40, not 50. This level of precision is necessary because even slight differences affect texture. During frying, the chips must maintain their hollow structure. This is what gives Takis their light but crunchy feel. If the structure collapses, the chip becomes dense and does not hold seasoning properly. The chips are carried through the oil on conveyor systems that ensure each one spends the exact same amount of time in each zone. Oil quality is also monitored constantly. Sensors check for breakdown products. When the oil degrades, it is replaced. It prevents off flavors and keeps the taste consistent. When the chips exit the fryer, they are golden and crisp. At this point, they look nothing like the bright red snack people recognize. That transformation comes next. The defining feature of Takis is their intense coating. This is not a simple dusting of chili powder. It is a complete mixture with over 30 ingredients. The blend includes different types of chili powders for layered heat. Citric acid provides the sharp sour kick. Lime flavoring adds brightness. There are also salts, sugars, and other flavor compounds that roll out the taste. Applying the seasoning evenly is a challenge. The chips first receive a light coating of oil. This acts as an adhesive. Without it, the powder would not stick properly. Then they enter large rotating drums. These drums are similar in appearance to cement mixers, but are designed for food use and precise control. As the drums rotate, seasoning is added gradually. The rotation speed is critical. If it is too fast, the chips break. If it is too slow, the seasoning clumps and does not distribute evenly. The drums are also heated slightly. This helps the oil and seasoning bond to the chip surface. It allows the flavors to settle into the grooves and edges. The chips tumble for about 4.5 minutes. During this time, the coating builds up layer by layer. This is why Takis have such a strong and uniform flavor. Every surface, every curve, every groove is covered. When the chips leave the drum, they have their final appearance: bright, heavily coated, and intensely flavored. Before packaging, the chips go through multiple quality checks. One of the most interesting tests measures crunch. Machines apply force to the chip to see how much pressure they can take before breaking. This ensures that every batch has the same texture. There are also visual checks. Infrared systems can detect how evenly the seasoning is distributed. Uneven batches can be adjusted or rejected. Taste testing is still part of the process. Trained testers can detect small differences in flavor intensity. This is important because the balance between heat, sourness, and saltiness defines the product. Consistency is the goal. When someone opens a bag, they expect the same experience every time. Once approved, the chips move to packaging. The bags used are made from multiple layers. These layers protect against light, moisture, and air. Before sealing, the bags are flushed with nitrogen gas. This removes oxygen, which can cause the chips to go stale or the seasoning to degrade. Nitrogen also helps protect the fragile structure of the chips during transport. It prevents crushing and keeps the product fresh longer. This step is one of the reasons Takis can maintain their intense color and flavor from factory to store shelf. While the original flavor is widely known, there are several variations. Fuego is the most famous, known for its intense heat and lime profile. Blue heat offers a similar intensity with a different visual and flavor twist. Nitro introduces a smoky element. Different markets may receive slightly adjusted versions. Spice tolerance varies around the world, so the balance of heat and acidity can be tuned. Takis started in Mexico but have spread rapidly, especially in the United States. Their bold flavor and visual appeal have made them popular in social media challenges and taste tests. What makes Takis interesting is not just their flavor. It is the coordination required to produce them. Each stage depends on the one before it. If the masa is not prepared correctly, rolling fails. If rolling is off, frying does not hold shape. If frying is uneven, seasoning will not stick properly. Timing is everything. The dough has seconds to be shaped. The chips have less than a minute to be fried. The seasoning must be applied within a narrow range of temperature and motion. Even small variations can lead to large-scale waste. Chips can break, burn, or fail to hold coating. This is why the process relies on precise machinery and constant monitoring. One of the most interesting aspects of Takis production is how it combines ancient and modern methods. Nixtamalization has been used for thousands of years. It is a traditional process with deep cultural roots. At the same time, the rolling machines, frying systems, and seasoning drums represent modern engineering. The result is a product that connects history with industrial-scale production. At a glance, Takis might seem like just another snack. But when you look at how they are made, it becomes clear that each chip is the result of careful design. The shape is intentional. The texture is controlled. The flavor is layered and evenly distributed. Everything from the type of corn to the speed of a rotating drum plays a role. That is what gives Takis their distinct identity. Not just heat, but a specific combination of crunch, coating, and intensity that is hard to replicate. The next time you open a bag, it is worth thinking about the process behind it. What looks like a simple rolled chip has passed through multiple stages, each one tuned to produce a very specific result. And that is what keeps people coming back. Not just for the spice, but for the experience that has been engineered into every bite.